Zhu Mingye on the right, and Aizanat Murtazaeva on the left. Jeff, I'm going to start with perhaps a slightly awkward question, but now that Olympic qualification is done, it seems to be just a little bit more of a relaxed atmosphere here. Is that going to affect the fencing?
No, because I still think it's for bragging rights. They want to win. They want to improve their position or maintain their position in the rankings. And the bottom line is they're here. They're competitors. They really want to win. But yes, you could feel there's a little bit of a calmness here that wasn't here before.
They certainly are standing toe to toe, going up against each other here. Just to finish off that Olympic story with Hong Kong qualifying, because trying to beat Korea in the semi-finals. Sorry, Korea beat China in the semi-finals, jumped up into the top 4 in the Olympic rankings. That means that Hong Kong are the beneficiaries. That means, of course, for Canada. But it does mean that because Hong Kong qualify, Kong, Manway, Vivian doesn't need the individual places. We go straight to a passivity call here by referee Hatzopoulos. A minute without fencing, and we are on P yellows already. So yes, Kong doesn't need her individual spot. So Sato Nozomi of Japan was in the second Asian spot. She moves to the top Asian spot. She qualifies still, and it's Kakimova of Uzbekistan who is the beneficiary of Hong Kong qualifying. So Korea had a big say in both the team qualification and individual as we get our first hit here.
This is all a question of if the referee called halt, because they definitely had switched. Was that an immediate riposte? We will see. No touch after the halt. And the halt was called because they had reversed positions on the piste.
It's Lin that decides to go after it early doors here. So get these brilliant replays from
Lin made a little beat and then a straight lunge. Khrapina asked for her weapon to be tested. It works. She's disappointed because she was hoping it didn't work, so the touch could be annulled. That's on the floor.
It's a good effort to hit the floor from this raised piece, isn't it?
Lin went for it there with a very bombastic, quick lunge attack, and Khrapina was able to double.
There we have it, end of the first period. I'm really desperately trying to find another word for cagey, but certainly a cagey start from the pair of them. But with Lin coming away with a slender lead 2-1. And on comes Sun Yiwen. Now Sun Yiwen's been sitting on the bench today. This is her first outing. And she goes up against Aizanat Murtazaeva. I wonder why Sun has been on the bench. She's been their star performer pre-COVID, of course, but you know, clearly the Chinese team doing very well to get to the semi-finals. Did you see anything in that
I'm not
against
sure.
Korea?
I'm not sure why she was on the bench, but I know why she's off the bench, and the reason is because Chengzi was -9 in the semi-final versus Korea, and that was the difference in that particular match.
Well, there you have it. It's great, you know, when I ask you a question, you know the answer.
Luckily, I was prepared for that one.
Well, here we go, leg number 2 here. Now remember the passivity cards, which you can see in the scoring box or scoring screen in the middle of the piece, carry over throughout the team match. So if we get too much dancing about like this, we're going to see our first P red. So onus is on Murtazaeva to score a hit, and as she gets too close to Sun, that's the danger with the left-handed pommeler. She's got an incredibly long lunge because of her height, but also it's super fast.
She struck like a cobra there. Great shot.
Lovely again.
Very quick attack. She's quick on her feet. That time she took the blade. Watch her take the blade here. Beat, attack.
Again!
There with a beautiful parry riposte. So basically, the Sun has been able to hit on a straight attack in preparation, a beat attack. There, it's hard to see, but she took the blade there, made the riposte.
It was definitely a different action, wasn't it? It was definitely a defensive as opposed to an offensive one from Sun. And you see what happens when a team has the lead. It can open up very quickly for them with the new passivity rule. Well, it's not so new now, is it, Jeff? The passivity rule.
It's about 3. Well, the passivity rule was born in 2002 or 3, and the most recent iteration of it's about 3 years old. That's where we stand now with the P cards. Sun saw an opening there. Murtazaeva was waiting, and somehow Sun was able to make counter riposte for a double.
Well, it sounds to me like the Russians have called Murtazaeva off, and Sun has said, well, I'll do me. I'm quite happy with the 4 hits I've scored here. 4-1, in fact. And that is a big difference now for the Chinese team. It's down to the P cards, right?
That to the P cards for sure. That was an impressive leg by Sun, who we hadn't seen all day, coming off the bench and just looking so impressive.
Certainly is. And on now for the Russians, it's Yulia Lichagina, and on for China, it's Zhu Mingye. Now, it looks to me like the Russians are going to make a substitution. So you've got to think that Murtazaeva's had her day, and that the double junior world champion and now senior world champion, Tatiana Gudkova, is going to come on. We shall see in the next fight, in fact, as Anna Kovria takes up the refereeing duties.
He will come. Go immediately. On guard.
I know I've got some issues in the Chinese box, but Kovria is just going to get on with the refereeing here. I'll keep an eye on that, Jeff, as you watch the match. Could be that China have made a substitution as well.
Nice attack there by Zhu. So Lichagina was just pushing and pushing and pushing, and then all of a sudden Zhu makes an attack and scores. It's a double.
Yeah, and Lichagina just wearing that one. We'll see in the replay as you watch the face of the Russian on the left. Just took the epee straight to the mask.
Wow.
Pushed her head back, and she felt that.
I mean, better to get hit with the point like that than to get hit with the bell, but that looked like it was really a stiff one. Karam, I think we have the angle from the Russian team box right now.
Yeah, they're trying to do a multi-camera setup here to mimic TV.
Zhu able to double there, keep it with a 5-point lead. And on Lichagina's preparation, Zhu took the blade, made the attack, now it's a 6-point lead.
Yeah, head going down in between hits as well, Jeff, I've noticed from the Russian.
Yeah.
Well, Zhu just keeping the pressure on Lichagina, and a target score of 15 is quite possible here. Come on after this one. Oh, nice, again.
Beautiful action by Zhu. She closed her out. Let's watch her take the blade. And she was in opposition and was able to block Lichagina's attack.
Definitely trying to find a way through off the blade, but every time she's stepped in, it's either been controlled with distance from Zhu, or she's just stepped in for the double.
She loved the double there. It's Lichagina did all the work, and Zhu got 50% of the result.
Double sees Zhu getting closer to the target score of 15. She has to step off the piece to straighten her weapon. You'll watch this replay again.
Very easy double. So that, I believe that's 3 already in this leg, so Lichagina has to look to get a single. Maybe take the blade.
So she has been trying, I think.
Yes, she has. You're right.
Well, time's going to run out on her. She's not going to go for any more here. And the Russians have already made their substitute. And to me, I think Lichagina's head has gone down. Despite saying that, she has scored 5 hits in that fight. The problem is, Zhu, her opponent, scored 9.
That was a very good leg by Zhu, and now it's up to, this is getting interesting here because we have our biggest lead of 7, and the substitute Gudkova is in against Lin.
So Gudkova has come on as reserve, as we knew she would, and that is definitely Lin there, but we did see some action in the Chinese box, so I'm wondering if we're going to see Zhu again in the next fight, and then it's going to be Zhu who will come on for Sun Yiwen in leg number 6.
Lin was waiting for that there with her parry riposte, took the blade down to Sakon, but Murtazaeva was, Gudkova rather, was able to get off and score in the remise. Nice attack by Lin.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say, Jeff, the situation here for me is now, how do I put this delicately? The Russians need to do something about this deficit already. Now, I'm not saying rush, but to me, it doesn't look like there's many ideas coming out of any of the 3 Russians at the moment.
Not at the moment, and Lin, we saw in the match with Korea, likes to take the blade, and although in her attack she didn't, she generally was very effective by taking the blade. As she does there, and Gudkova gets a double, but that is of no help to reducing the deficit. So you have to do something more than just react to Lin there.
Gudkova is looking back to the coach, looking for some guidance, looking for some ideas. She's come on for Murtazaeva, and at the moment the substitution hasn't worked. There is parity, of course, in this fight, 2 apiece. Well, Gudkova's turned off the tap here. Lin perhaps looking for a sneak last second hit to extend the lead, but she's backed off as well now. Tricky times for the Russian team here on home soil. Going for the bronze medal here up against China, who just got a 2-1 lead coming out of the first leg, but then the teams got P-yellowed, and that has meant that the Russians have had to go after the Chinese team, and the lead is just built for the Chinese.
You know, and looking back at that last leg with Gudkova, the substitute, she kept it at 2-2. I think actually she did the job she was asked to do. I don't think she was out there to take risks and just keep it close and leave it to the other fencers to do the job here.
Fair call. Fair call. We'll find out whether you're right, Jeff Bicance, as Violetta Khrapina comes on for the Russians up against Zhu Mingye. Very clever boy, Jeff Bicance. You're a very clever boy.
That was a very clever touch by Khrapina. She came forward and just waited for Zhu to commit.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they brought on Gudkova to steady the ship, and now they're asking Khrapina to come out and close the deficit.
And she was just waiting there with a counterattack, and very quietly, that's 2 quick touches. The momentum has not yet switched, but wow, it looked like Zhu was going to hit her, but Khrapina snuck one in there.
Just having a weapon checked here.
So what we're seeing here, Karim, is Khrapina is pushing, but actually counterattacking while she's pushing.
Trying to provoke her opponent to react off it. Oh, had another opportunity there. Snatching around at the bell as well. Trying to hit the wrist. Getting orders barked at her from the Russian coach. She's lively on her feet, isn't she, Jeff?
Very much so.
All of a sudden, the Russian game has changed. She'll be disappointed with that one, but that's okay. She's fencing well and showing signs of some spirit of fight in the Russian team.
That was a good action by Zhu, because Khrapina is definitely waiting for it, and Zhu knew that, and she was able to get in close and score in the remise. What an incredible toe touch. We haven't seen that. Asking for a replay that hit the floor, hit the piece.
Well, we get a replay here.
Let's see.
Oh, she clipped the foot, and then as Zhu pulled her leg out of the way, naturally the epee falls onto the piece.
I mean, it's not possible if the piece is grounded for that to have gone off on the piece, although it almost looked pretty close there.
Zhu would have had to have found the dead spot on the piece. That's a nice attack. Hitting on the wrist with a flash.
Powerful by taking the blade by Zhu.
It's taken till the 5th leg to come alive, but it certainly has here. Still a 6-point lead for Zhu, but there's still a minute left to go. Couple more hits from Khrapina to close the gap up, and the start of the comeback will be complete.
I believe Zhu's plan is to do an attack on the blade. Not on that one. The referee calls halt. In epee, the referee allows the fencers to keep going. There's no right of way. As long as there's no body contact, they can allow it, and they can properly wield the weapons. They allow them to fence. And there, as Khrapina came forward, Zhu stepped in and sort of surprised her.
Khrapina's having a... Well, she's actually surrendering her weapon. She said enough of that. I think she initially was going to have it tested, but she just decided to hand it in. Do you think this is as much to do with giving herself just a little bit of break to think about the last 28 seconds of the fight?
Maybe it's a good idea. Maybe. And sometimes when you miss on an action, you just feel like, this is not the weapon for me. I just need to get the one that feels just right.
Well, something's come out. I wasn't hearing. What a spot!
That's amazing. Who knows? Maybe that's what Khrapina hit on the toe touch that we never really saw.
Oh, there you go. Nice bit of sportsmanship there at the end as well. So 3 points to Khrapina, but 3 to Zhu as well. So an interesting little fight there. A lot of work from Khrapina, but no net gain. On comes Lichagina, and I think that is the Russian substitute, the Chinese substitute there. No, it's not. It's the left hand. It's still the left-handed.
So, Karam, the last 2 legs have been even.
Yep.
2-2, 3-3.
Yep.
Russia soon has to start making a dent in that 7-touch deficit.
Yeah, but I think you're right when you said that Gudkova had come on to shore things up, and Khrapina was desperately trying to go after the hits and get it. So I think you made the right call. It just hasn't worked out for them. Easy peasy if you attack from that far away against Sun Yiwen with that pommel grip, an extra reach and her height advantage. That's what you're going to get.
Right on the shoulder. She saw that in slow motion. That was, as you said, a little bit easy for her. Doubles just fine for Sun and the Chinese, who maintain an 8-point lead, their largest of the match.
Total control from Sun here. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Closing out and ceased.
Lichagina went for the for the inside line under the flank, and there's the parry. There's the parry and the repose. Beautiful, almost like a bind. That's a very nice one.
I spoke to Hughes Aubry, the coach of China from France. Fine fencer himself. Of course, switching to coaching. He has said that the year break from fencing has actually helped out his Chinese team. And he thinks that they have got the potential, both the men and the women, to be contending for gold in Tokyo. And on the looks of this fight, it was an interesting fight against Korea, a difficult one, of course, for both teams, and it was up and down. I don't think there's any shame in losing to a strong Korean team, but they've totally dominated this fight, not only with their technique here, but also with the tactics.
That's true. They had a very tough fight with Korea. They were leading for the first half before Korea came back and won. And Sun has scored twice, as you said, a pummeler with the longer reach. She scored twice on counterattacks very easily to the shoulder of Lichagina.
Well, what can you say, Jeffrey Kantz? 1 point for Lichagina, 4 for Sun. And where are the ideas coming from?
And here's the problem now, because Gudkova, the substitute, now she's not here to keep the score close. She's here. They have to start closing the gap here. They're going to have to start taking some serious risks because it's a 10-touch deficit. If you lose, you lose, but you can't lose without trying. So they're going to have to take some risks now.
Well, no sign of a Chinese substitute. Gudkova will be going up against Zhu Mingye. Zhu Mingye comes into this fight with a +3 indicator. Gudkova's on a 0, but Gudkova is, as you say, going to have to go after this. I don't think that is necessarily her A game.
I mean, theoretically, there's 2 legs to go after this. She could play the same game, just try to keep it close, maybe pick up 1 or 2, and let the other 2 try to go for it.
Zhu's just sitting back here, making Gudkova go for it, and that's what she's going to do every time. Counter-attack, over the top, avoid the blade. And
we saw that in the last leg too with Sun.
Yep, but you can see the height difference there, and Zhu is always going to get away at worst with a double. And just to be clear, it's not Murtazaeva as the caption show on the top left-hand side of your screen. It is definitely Tatiana Gudkova on for the Russians. Just unable to change the scoring caption, I'm afraid.
Wow, that was an explosive one. I think Zhu hurt her foot as well. She landed on her toe, or maybe Gudkova stepped on it. No.
Oh, I don't think she's hurt her foot. She's absolutely hurt it, 100%. She's trying to shake it off, but that looks painful. So she dropped her weapon on the ground, and completely accidentally, Gudkova stepped on it, and it smashed the bell, the guard, into her foot. So in effect, she hit herself. Well, she recovered pretty quickly, I'd have to say.
Yeah. Well, Zhu took the blade in counter 6 and missed, and Gudkova scores on the remise, her first touch. Zhu steps in, takes the blade, and hits. Let's watch. Took the blade with a little counter 6 beat. On Gudkova's first step, Zhu takes the blade again and scores, and the body language from Gudkova is quite dejected at this point.
It's starting to look like one-way traffic, and when you go this far behind, well, it just makes painful watching, whether you're watching from the sidelines or inside that mask of the Russian. Still trying to probe away, still trying to press, and find some way of making some hits.
Zhu took the blade, made the attack, and Gudkova got a double, but double is of no help. Again, Zhu takes the blade, this time on the remise.
Well, this fell apart for the Russians in leg number 2, and there really hasn't been very much. Legs 4 and 5, where parity was held between the two teams, but as Russia are running out of space in terms of room on the fight list for 9 legs, well, China have just taken full advantage.
Well, it's up to Lichagina to try to score some touches here.
Lichagina on for Russia, and Lin on for China. 15-point deficit. China comes in with a -6 indicator.
And Lin there took the blade, made a really fast attack. Lin's another fencer that likes to do actions on the blade.
Whoa! Daisy. She's gonna be alright. She just slipped off the side of the piece then. I think she probably injured herself or hurt herself as she slid off the piece rather than when she actually slipped. Looks like the Chinese doctor's going to come up. Yeah, so you would have thought if she was going to injure herself in that, she would injure the left foot, but she's actually injured her high up right thigh because she slid off the metal edge of the piece.
Wow, she's really writhing in pain here.
I think she'll be alright. I think she's just taken a little bit of a knock on the bottom.
Looks like the hamstring, right?
Yeah, I don't think she's pulled the hamstring. She's just sort of like dragging herself on a pebble. She might have grazed herself a little bit, perhaps even through the breeches. She's still holding on to it. Quite rightly, the cameras have switched away because the doctor was administering his medical practice to an area quite high up her leg. And now the referee is calling for an engineer to come across and just fix the hoardings, the advertising hoardings.
And you know why the referee asked for him to come over? Because Lin said, I'm not going to fence it till you fix it.
Well, there you go.
She still was holding that leg, though, during the break here.
Well, it's her last fight here in Kazan. I think she'll be alright. Look at that. Moving just as agile as she was before.
Look quite fine on that one, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
I think she's okay.
On the other hand, Lichagina is in big trouble here.
Yeah, and reacting there and getting a double might be nice if the score is tied, but not right now. There, Lin stepped forward, wait for Lichagina to commit herself, and then took the blade. Still a double.
Halfway through the 8th leg, and well, the lead continues to open up. Started at 15 points, has opened up to 17. We get a great replay of that beautiful attack, just luring Lichagina into distance.
So even with the huge deficit, Carm, we haven't seen either Gudkova or Lichagina take any risks of sort.
Yeah, at some point you have to break the seal and change tactics and try and find a way through. Even if you, I think you said it earlier on today, if you're going to go down fighting.
That's what I would think. At least give it a go.
Well, there's a single light for the Russians.
Very nice. She could use another 16 of those.
Even in close quarters, Lin is the one that comes away with the bonus point.
Lin, as we've seen all day, did the attack by taking the blade. Took the blade counter 6, made a nice little attack, and there's no ill effects of that, what looked to be an injury to her upper right thigh, hamstring.
There we have it. 37 plays, 19 here at the end of the 8th. I wonder if the Chinese will try and take it over the line to 45. 7 points for Lin. So Lin finishes with a +4 indicator. There's 4 points for Lichagina. So Lichagina finishes on a -9 indicator. Yiwen coming on. The Chinese have stuck with their original lineup. Zhu was benched after the loss to Korea, and she's going up against Yulia Khrapina for the last match. Jeff, do you reckon Khrapina will go for this now?
With limited amount. I mean, but maybe let's just see what happens if she scores one early. Maybe we really didn't see it from either of the last two fencers at all. There was no sense of urgency or let's give it a go.
Well, if nothing else, you could treat this as a training bout.
Yeah.
You know, and try stuff that perhaps you wouldn't naturally try. But look at Sun, she's in complete control. So that, she didn't get her foot out of the way quick enough that time, and Khrapina gets a hit to the foot.
Well, she got a quick early one, so just try again, take some risks, and whatever happens, happens.
So here's a question for you. Other teams are going to be watching this. Whether it's right now or picking up the YouTube feed in a week's time, they're going to be saying, well, look, number one, we cannot go down even by a single point to China early on in the match, because this is the game they're going to play and they're damn good at it.
They're really formidable once they have that lead, you're right.
Is there not just the fact that now they're forcing other teams to fence a certain way against them? Is there not also the psychological advantage that if they do go behind, now it's like, oh dear, we're already in trouble in legs 1, 2 and 3?
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely it's a psychological issue there. But they're going to figure it out. Everyone has a book on everyone else, so all the other teams will watch this and say, okay, this is what they're doing well, and we'll have to figure out a way to combat it.
Another single light for Khrapina.
And a little bit of emotion, which we really haven't seen from their side today in this match. All right, it's time for Sun to pick it up a little bit. Flat-footed on the last one. And Sun saw a little daylight and got the wrist touch there.
Very good. Sun saw a bit of daylight. I might use that. And another one. So a little lapse in concentration. I wonder if...
yes, I think so. It's easy to have a lapse in concentration with such an enormous lead.
The hit rate would need to be significantly higher than it is now for Russia to really worry Sun.
She regained her concentration on that one, did Sun, with a very nice attack. And truth be told, is Khrapina was not worried, was not planning for that, because she had been pushing the whole time. Sun had never once done anything offensively, and she just wasn't ready for that.
Bit of a trademark hit as well from Sun, the flash over the top. So now Khrapina's pulled this one down to just 15 hits behind.
Well, give her some credit. She went for it, and there, Sun waiting in the 4 line makes the riposte or the counterattack with opposition. There was body contact, that's why the referee called halt.
Well, a little over 30 seconds left to go in an impressive display from China. They pulled away from leg 1. It was only one hit after leg 1, but then since then the gap has widened ever increasingly throughout. Khrapina's having a little late rally, but it's too little, too late. A dominant performance from the Chinese, having lost a very tricky semi-final against Korea. They have taken the bronze medal here in Kazan. A done deal, a great performance. China are the bronze medalists here in the women's team at Epee in Kazan at the last Olympic qualifier. Just a refresher on the qualification: China, Poland, Russia, Korea qualified for the Olympic Games as the top 4 nations after the rankings have been completed. USA, Italy and Hong Kong have picked up their zonal spots, Because there's no African team in the top 16, it's Estonia who get the bonus place. The knock-on effects of Korea winning the semi-finals, not only that Hong Kong qualify as the top Asian team outside of the top 4, but it also means that Canada don't go. On top of that, it means that Kong, who held one of the individual Asian spots, doesn't need it anymore, and that spot goes to Kakimova of Uzbekistan, who joins Sato Nozomi from Japan.